The answer choices here tell us we basically have two decisions to make. First, we need to decide whether or not this is going to be two complete sentences, because we have a semicolon as one of our options, and we need to remember that a semicolon is used to separate two complete sentences. So if that's what we've got, then we need that punctuation mark. If not, then we might need to use a comma, which is a weaker punctuation mark, which can let us interrupt a sentence without necessarily ending it. Then based on that, if we do need a sentence, we need to decide whether the word rather is going to be a transition word that goes with the part before or the part after. So let's just figure out first the structure of what we're dealing with. So zooming in here, to humans, it does not appear that the golden orb weaver spider uses camouflage to capture its prey. Sounds like we could just end it there, but okay, let's see. I'm going to ignore the word rather because I don't know where it belongs yet, but let's just think about the structure. The brightly colored arachnid seems to wait conspicuously in the center of its large circular web for insects to approach. So this is definitely two sentences. Remember, when we're thinking about sentences, we're looking for a subject and a verb. So it does not appear is my subject and verb, right? It is my subject, does is my verb, and does not appear. And then we get some details, but basically my sentence is kind of over based just on that underlined portion. Then the brightly colored arachnid, so the arachnid seems to wait conspicuously. There again, we have a subject and a verb, so we have another complete sentence. And so here we do need a strong punctuation mark to separate these two ideas. So we're stuck with C or D. Then we need to think whether or not the word rather, which is a contrast word, is going to belong with the first sentence or the second sentence. Now, in a lot of cases, there's a genuine kind of toss-up here, but in reality with 17, it's got to be D. Mostly because we don't have a sentence that comes before this first sentence here, right? There's nothing that it would contrast with. So that's the thing with these transition words is grammatically, there is a world in which choice C could be my answer. So it's not like that is always wrong. But if a transition word like rather or however appears in a sentence, it is always contrasting with the sentence before it. Right? So since there's no sentence before, rather isn't going to make sense here. But just to kind of put it in better context of why D is right, let's kind of break this down, right? To humans, it does not appear that the golden orb weaver spider uses camouflage to capture its prey. So it does not appear it's using camouflage. Rather, or however, the arachnid seems to wait conspicuously in the center of its large circular web for insects to approach. So we don't think it's using camouflage. Rather, instead, it seems to just be waiting there out in the open, and so it doesn't look camouflaged at all. And then they're saying that it actually is camouflage, so this researcher has explained that the spider's distinctive coloration may in fact be part of its appeal. So maybe there's more to it, but I don't really care about that part. The idea is kind of over once we're done with that second sentence. And notice I keep talking about it as one sentence, two sentences, and that's because the semicolon, even though technically it's all one big sentence because there's no capital letter, no period, it's helpful for us to really understand where sentences, complete ideas, what we would call independent clauses kind of begin and end. And so in my mind, the semicolon is kind of just behaving like a period here. So I'm thinking about how those two sentences would behave if it was a period. Ignoring the semicolon, it's the only way to do it here because I don't have an option of a period, but it's better to think about these as separate sentences, separate ideas, so we can kind of understand how they relate to each other.